Mike Williams and Denise Williams.
Mike Williams and Denise Williams are two individuals who were involved in a high-profile murder case in Florida, United States. Mike Williams was a 31-year-old real estate appraiser who disappeared on December 16, 2000, while on a duck hunting trip at Lake Seminole in Florida. His disappearance was initially thought to be a tragic accident, as his empty boat was found floating on the lake. However, his body was not recovered, and his case remained unsolved for many years. Denise Williams was Mike's wife at the time of his disappearance. She later married Brian Winchester, who was Mike's best friend and the best man at their wedding. In 2017, Winchester was arrested and convicted for kidnapping Denise at gunpoint. During his trial, he confessed to killing Mike and hiding his body in a swamp near the lake. Denise Williams was subsequently arrested and charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and accessory after the fact. During her trial, it was alleged that Denise and Brian had conspired to kill Mike and had staged his death as a boating accident in order to collect a $1.75 million life insurance policy. Denise was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to life in prison without parole. The Mike Williams and Denise Williams case garnered significant media attention and was featured on several true crime television shows and podcasts. It remains a notable case in Florida's criminal history. Cheryl Williams. Cheryl Williams was the mother of Mike Williams, the man who disappeared in 2000 during a duck hunting trip in Florida, as discussed in a previous question. Cheryl tirelessly campaigned for her son's case to be investigated, even when the authorities initially thought he had died in a tragic accident. She believed that foul play was involved in her son's disappearance and was determined to find answers. After years of searching for her son, Cheryl passed away in 2003, never knowing what happened to Mike. However, her unwavering dedication to finding the truth about her son's disappearance inspired many, including her son's friends and family, to continue the search for answers. In 2017, Brian Winchester, Mike's best friend, confessed to killing him and hiding his body. This confession was a result of an investigation into the kidnapping of Winchester's ex-wife, Denise Williams, who had since married Mike. Denise was later convicted of being an accessory to Mike's murder and sentenced to life in prison. Cheryl's persistence in seeking justice for her son and the eventual resolution of the case provided closure for her family and friends, as well as a cautionary tale of the dangers of deceit and betrayal. How Brian Winchester and Denise Williams planned and murdered Mike Williams. Brian Winchester and Denise Williams were both involved in the planning and murder of Mike Williams. Here is a brief summary of the events that led to his death. Brian Winchester and Denise Williams, who were both married to other people at the time, began an affair in the late 1990s. They also had a long-standing friendship with Mike Williams, who was Brian's best friend. In 1999, Denise and Mike got married and had a child together. However, their marriage was troubled, and they were reportedly considering divorce. Brian and Denise began plotting to kill Mike in order to collect his life insurance policy, which was worth $1.75 million. They initially planned to stage a drowning during a duck hunting trip on Lake Seminole, where Mike was an avid hunter. On December 16, 2000, Brian and Mike went on a duck hunting trip as planned. However, Brian shot and killed Mike instead of staging the drowning. He then hid Mike's body in a remote swamp. Brian and Denise then staged a boating accident to make it appear as though Mike had drowned. They claimed that Mike had fallen out of his boat and was swept away by the current. After Mike's disappearance, Denise filed a claim on his life insurance policy and received the payout. For years, the truth about Mike's disappearance was unknown. It wasn't until 2017, when Brian was arrested for kidnapping Denise, that he confessed to killing Mike and revealed the details of the murder. In 2018, Denise Williams was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and accessory after the fact. She was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to life in prison without parole. The murder of Mike Williams was a complicated and heartbreaking crime that involved deceit, betrayal, and greed. The eventual resolution of the case provided some closure for Mike's family and friends, but also served as a cautionary tale about the dangers of greed and the devastating consequences of betrayal. How the Mike Williams murder case ended. The Mike Williams murder case finally ended in 2019, nearly 2 decades after he disappeared. Here is a summary of the events leading up to the conclusion of the case. In 2000, Mike Williams disappeared during a duck hunting trip in Florida. His body was not found, and his death was initially believed to be an accident. For years, Mike's mother, Cheryl Williams, led the charge to find answers about her son's disappearance.
She believed that foul play was involved and relentlessly campaigned for his case to be investigated.
In 2017, Brian Winchester, Mike's best friend, was arrested and charged with the kidnapping of his ex-wife, Denise Williams. During his trial, he confessed to killing Mike and hiding his body. Denise Williams was also arrested and charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and accessory after the fact. In 2018, Denise Williams was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In 2019, Mike Williams's remains were finally found in a remote area of Leon County, Florida, after a tip from a confidential informant. This discovery provided some closure for his family and friends, who had been searching for him for nearly 18 years. The case officially came to an end in 2019, with Denise Williams serving a life sentence for her role in the murder of her husband and Brian Winchester already serving a 20-year sentence for the kidnapping of Denise. The resolution of the Mike Williams murder case was a long and complicated process that involved years of investigation, courtroom drama, and finally, the discovery of his remains. While his family and friends will never fully recover from the loss of their loved one, the conclusion of the case provided some measure of closure and justice for the tragic events that unfolded nearly 2 decades ago.